In other news, I was on the ground in Las Vegas earlier this year for the Health USA 2025 event. It aims to transform the next decade of healthcare. AI, as expected, was a major topic of conversation, and Ambience Health co-founder and CEO Nikhil Budama said it could fundamentally change the sector. Here's more.
You look at the life of a physician, especially one practicing in a rural setting, where you live and the places you get to go seek healthcare fundamentally change the quality of the care that you actually receive. And I think AI has this opportunity to be a great equalizer. So even if you live in a rural setting, you're driving 2 hours to go see your clinician, the opportunity over the next 10 years to get the same quality of care that you would if you were flying to a Cleveland clinic or a Mayo clinic, I think that's very well within the realm of possibility over the next 10 years.
How is your company leaning into AI?
Well, for us, we think about how do we use this technology to really empower the clinician at the front lines. And you think about the profession of medicine today, the reality is they really barely get to take care of this person in front of them. A big part of it is technology has sort of created this barrier between them and their patient. The amount of time that clinicians spend scavenging through the EHR to find information, how much time they spend writing documentation, navigating all the complicated coding and billing rules to get reimbursed by insurance companies. The goal for Ambience is how do we leverage this set of AI capabilities to take that burden and liberate the clinician from the keyboard so they can build authentic relationships with their patients and just focus on taking care of them.
Healthcare can be extremely complex. How is Ambience stepping up to meet that challenge?
I think it's especially complicated for us because we work with some of the most sort of sophisticated academic medical centers and integrated delivery networks in the country. And you think about these organizations, a place like Cleveland Clinic has 100, 200 different specialty service lines and subspecialty areas. Even something as simple as ear, neck, and throat, the work of a laryngologist versus a sleep surgeon versus someone you're seeing for sinus surgery, they have completely different medicine they're practicing, very different workflows in the EHR, very different coding and billing and reimbursement rules. And so a big challenge for us is how do we build a bespoke product that truly appreciates and understands the differences for each of those specialists and achieves a magical experience for the clinician.
About those specialists, I see that your platform supports more than 200 specialties. How is that possible?
There's probably a few different pieces. The first is we spend a lot of time fine-tuning these frontier reasoning models to deeply understand the medicine that's happening in every single one of these visits. What a lot of people don't fully understand about medical documentation is it's not a summary of the conversation, it's a reflection of the medical decision-making that's happening in the visit. And so you'll oftentimes hear clinicians using Ambience say, it feels like the technology's reading my mind. And that's a big part of how you create a magical experience for the clinician. The second piece is the workflows are also so different, each of these specialty areas. So you think about an oncologist, 70% of their visits are follow-up visits. And so you need a system of intelligence to understand all the past context, the past notes, the labs, the pathology reports, fax documents, and synthesizing all that information and combining it with the information in the conversation to write documentation. And if you have two separate systems, one of them doing the summary of past information, one of them summarizing the conversation, you can imagine it's a broken workflow for the clinician because they're trying to merge two summaries together. And so there's all these details in workflow you have to get right, all these very specific improvements in clinical reasoning you have to get right to be able to actually serve each of these specialty service lines specifically.
Give us a real-world example of the impact of this technology.
So we work with several of the major academic medical centers. Cleveland Clinic actually is one of our marquee partners. Last year, they ran a 5-way evaluation across all the major players in the ambient AI space. We ended up becoming their partner of choice. We're partnered together for the next 5 years. A big part of that was they asked 2 questions. What percentage of visits do clinicians across the range of subspecialties, the 100+ subspecialties, do clinicians use this technology for? And what's the net promoter score? What do clinicians really like using the technology? In the first 3 months of rolling this out at Cleveland Clinic, we onboarded 80% of their clinicians. 75% of all Cleveland Clinic visits now flow through Ambience, and the average net promoter score is now 60. The other solutions that they tested, the next best was at a 12, and the other 3 were negative. And so I think it's a testament to a lot of the hard work our team has put in to create a seamless experience for the clinician across the sort of range of complexities.
Where do you see your company and the category heading over these next few years?
We think the next frontier is how do we help clinicians make better decisions? In the short term, we expect clinicians to be experts in all sorts of things that have nothing to do with medicine, like navigating the thousands of coding and billing rules. We're building out the opportunity for us to enable clinicians to focus on taking care of the patient and alleviating that coding and billing burden to AI. And we're already doing it right now in the ambulatory setting, which is primary care, cardiology, neurology. And over the next year, we're planning to move all that infrastructure into the inpatient setting, which is one of the most complicated settings of care. On top of that, we're also starting to build systems for clinical decision support to help doctors make better clinical decisions. So you can almost imagine an equivalent of ChatGPT integrated into the medical record that can look up all the information on a patient, look up the evidence-based guidelines, use medical calculators, trend biomarkers, and answer complex questions on behalf of clinicians within a matter of seconds. We think a combination of both these capabilities are going to be a big part of the Ambience platform over the next 12 months.